Hey, good evening, guys. How we doing? How is everybody's trading going now? For me personally, oil was the a big loser for me today. I'm still floating in about 3 or 4 different other currency pairs, but oil, I did definitely take a hit on that. I lost around about 80 pips on that. I'm gonna give it one more chance if I'm completely honest. I'm gonna give it one more chance of where it is. But I'm probably going to look for more scaled in opportunities. All right, so let's just get oil out the way. I did find, I came in for about the 78.6% here. If we take the entire fib move here, I did come in off. I did come in off of this, and I'm not even afraid or negative about the situation. This is something that I love to trade, the spinning top formations at the bottom of a downtrend, and therefore I've got no problem in terms of the loss that I did end up taking today. So simply because the setup was there. The setup's there, it's worked for me time and time again in the past. No trader is ever 100% right. So that is me being completely honest about that. I did give it out to my private guys as well. I took the position off of 51. 75, something like that, and I was obviously looking for a big position there, but I only had about an 80 pip stop on it, so 80 pip got absolutely annihilated right there. So what I'm going to be looking at now on oil for me is actually, let's see if we can rebound from here. Okay, this is going to be the last time that I try on oil, because if we do continue to fall, we're probably going to come and revisit some of this 45 levels. That's some big levels down there. If you do scale out, really, let's just take the weekly time frame. There's not too much in play in regards to where price can get to, especially when you look at a monthly time frame. Huge amount of pressure here. So I'm going to take one more opportunity from where we are right now as the market opens itself back up again. However, I'm not going to be as aggressive as I potentially was today. Okay, so oil, I'm still looking for price anywhere between here and here to stay above. I'll scale back in on the 1 hour. I'm trying to find a bottom here, so it's a fairly risky type trading style. But again, for us, it's probably around about 75 pip stop. But I do believe if we can recover, we've got so much room to recover to 1 to 8 risk to reward, and it's something that obviously I personally have a preference towards. That I'm not going to change my bias all of a sudden just because of one loss. I'm going to suck it up, take the hit, and then look to continue from here. So I'm going to take one more chance at the bottom here. Let's see if we can maybe double bottom out to go higher, but that is certainly the more riskier trade out of all of them at the moment in time. So that is oil. Now if we go ahead and look at some of the other ones, Euro Aussie dollar looked pretty phenomenal from what we highlighted about the 1.6300 region. Price did go and smack straight into it. The reason I got the stop slightly larger than usual is just in case we go and hit towards the 1.6350. And what I explained to my private guys as well is something that I will probably even look to scale in on this. If this thing starts to push against me, I will look to add more positions to sell. All right, so let's say the trade pushes up, I'll look to sell again. Pushes past the previous high, I'll look to sell again. Goes and reach the multi-year highs, I will look to sell again. Okay, so I'm going to look to scale in on this, even though we are looking to currently reject from there. The daily time frame played out exactly as we'd expect. The 1, the 2. Oh, bless me. The 1, the 2, and then we've had the third reaction at this moment in time. If we look at the 4 hour, I've got a beautiful little evening star here. Evening star starting to suggest that there is some bearish momentum and some bearish pressure available. So there is some Australian news later on out today. And if we can actually get involved in on this thing, if we spiked at all, anywhere up into here, then I think this is a great opportunity to sell. Okay, let's say the Australian dollar had some form of wick movement and price rejected into the highs and then start to fall. That would be a beautiful sell zone. I'm still going to remain very bearish on this. I think it's a great opportunity to maybe sell this thing, having been so high up. Where is this arrow? Or trading so high up. So I am going to be looking for obviously continuations on Euro Aussie dollar, but it's a good continuation in the fact that what we highlighted previously earlier on in the week is coming into fruition. Euro GBP is very slow. Very slow, but it is still currently rejecting that highlighted region which we explained previously. Something that I'm going to focus a lot of my energy on is going to be USDCAD, okay? USDCAD is certainly going to be my favorite setup of the week. Now, firstly, on the monthly time frame, we obviously maybe peaked into a high, but it's the weekly that is holding so much pressure here. The weekly is as exciting as it can get in a way that this huge bearish engulfing has annihilated, literally annihilated the price from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 weeks of price has just been forgotten about. Absolutely crunched, and the fact that the weekly candlestick body has closed below this ascending trend line, and we are now approaching back up towards it for a break retest. Okay, we've also got, as we drop down the time frame daily, we've had 3 rallies into the high, which is nice, which is cool, and we've also got this liquidity wick down here. Okay, big wick zone. If I really want to be anal on this, I would say from these wicks to the low of this wick is where the liquidity is, and funnily enough, it lines up almost exactly with our golden pockets here between 61 and 71. The reason we've got those pockets there, I'm just going to tighten this out a little bit, just because I don't like too many things on my page. The reason I like this area of around 1.3350 towards 1.33, maybe 60, 70. Again, when you drop into the 4-hour time frame, we are looking at having made an impulse corrective lower high into a new lower low, and now we've pushed back up and towards the 4-hour 50 EMA there as well, in confluence with previous support now turned resistance. You've got the psychological boundary there of 1.3350, you've got the 50 EMA, and you've got the break and retest of the huge ascending trend line in there as well. Okay, so USD CAD is going to be my favorite setup for the week moving forward, and if not for for a very long time. So if we can push up into there, even to push it above 134, which is a big level, is around 60 pips. But I do believe this will fall to around about 1.31, and then beyond there, I do believe I'm going to hold this out for most of June. I could look for 1.28. Okay, so it's another huge risk to reward here of at least 1 to 8, 1 to 9 on USD CAD that I do see eyeing up here. I do see, even if it pushes slightly higher, and as long as this trade is valid, all right, this trade is valid as long as we remain below 1.3400 on a daily time frame. Daily time frame, we remain below 1.3400. You got the 50 EMA test there on the daily time frame. So even if we pop a little higher, I'm still going to be interested in the position. GBP USD. Now, not a lot has really changed on here. There's been no real trade setup as yet because the price has just consolidated all in and around the 127, looking for some stimulus. We had a rejection here, as I do believe there's some mention of not being able to push through the Brexit deal or something like that. You may have to do your own research on that, but effectively technical patterns are still in play. Technical patterns are still in play. I'm still looking for a nice AB, looking for the C rejection in and around this price point of 126. And if we can get into this level around 126,200, I think that still will be a good opportunity to take this thing a little bit higher. Because if we do cross-reference that with something like the DXY, it's nicely performing how we would expect, okay? There's not too much has changed from the previous analysis here. USD CAD has basically come into fruition. Euro Aussie dollar has basically come into fruition. DXY is performing how we had mentioned that it was going to perform. The only one that's done something slightly different is oil, but I'm going to give it one more chance at the current low price, all right? So everything that we talked about is still in alignment of where we could maybe take in some trades. What I would like to highlight is maybe NZD USD. I think there's a great potential on this, especially when you're dropping down to these lower time frames. Look at this is a great play that you've pushed into a high, you've pulled back to a key supportive base point, and now we could be looking for the rally in alignment with the previous highs over here. So NZD is very similar to something like Aussie. Aussie's just dropped into the zone. We do have Australian news out later on this evening if you are based in the UK, or in a couple of hours if you're based in the US, and therefore we could expect the drop in towards the price. Sometimes Aussie dollar loves to look extremely bearish. I mean, you've got an example here on the left hand side. Loves to look extremely bearish before reversing on us. Alright, loves to look extremely bearish before reversing on us. Loves to look extremely bearish before reversing on us. Okay, so you've got multiple opportunities here on the US dollar currency based pairs. I wouldn't be gaining too much hype in terms of taking this much higher. If you're in the initial long position from somewhat down here, that's fantastic. I applaud you, but there's so many more confluences to want to sell this thing back in alignment maybe with the pocket of around 61 and 71. Okay, so you've got regions of price with the 50 EMA there, you've got rejections of price, you've got the singular wick lows there on USDCAD, which will invertly will correlate nicely with a rejection for AU and NU respectively. USD Swissy is still lining up. This looks beautiful to push up higher. We are still approaching this zone of price over here, which will be my entry region for price. USD Swissy to pop back down off of that 50 EMA there on a daily time frame would be a fantastic setup altogether. And again, another huge risk to rewards. You've got to understand, I've shown you at least 3 trades here, of 2 of around 1 to 8, and this one's around 1 to 5. Okay, so if you're trading at these kind of risk to rewards, you only don't have to be winning every single trade possible. You have to be getting obviously 4 or 5 correct, and then having those high risk to reward ratios to actually implement making money within this market. So that's what I'm seeing across the US dollar currency based pairs. Not too much going on there. Gold I'm still going to leave alone. Oil we've obviously covered. Japanese yen, is there anything that I really like here? Euro JPY could be interesting. Let me go correlate this with actually the S&P. Right, the S&P is fairly floating. Japanese yen, what's the JXY doing? So the JXY is obviously at a peak point. It's going to be critical whether we bounce or break from here. If we do continue to break, we could see much further downside on some of these currency crosses. But I do still favor maybe higher upside. I don't see an initial trade, for me personally, available on EJ, GJ. NJ sort of ran off for a while. CADJ, AJ. Okay, cool. So the only one that I still really like is this potential on USDJPY. In a way that we're still looking for rejection zones in and around 109.250 or 109.850. Okay, so those are going to be the regions of price that I'm going to be looking at on USDJPY. There's no real other kind of Japanese yens that me personally I'm necessarily interested in. If we have a quick flick through, this is the first time I'm flicking through at the moment. GBP NZD, GBP AED, Euro AED, we know what we're doing with that. Euro NZD looks great. I can't lie, Euro NZD looks great, something that I'm actually going to get involved with pretty much now. We're once again rejecting of the high, 3 drives into the high, and we could begin to fall. So Euro NZD, I am looking at this thing maybe coming lower. Let's come and retest these lows of around 1.691250. If we can break those lows, we do need a full recovery back towards 1.6700. So this is a nice daily rejection of a 3rd drive into the high. You've come and taken out any stop losses of the previous high. We're still at an extremely high level. If you do look back in history, we're obviously at a premium price point of around support, 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 resistance, and resistance. Okay, so let's see if we can have a big decline. This could almost inevitably be a left head and right shoulder of a longer term play here. So Euro NZD, that's immediately going on my watch list after stopping us break even at the start of the week, but that is something that I'm extremely interested in once again. Okay, so Euro NZD back on a watch list. Let's see what we can do with this. So guys, that's a little catch up from me. Hope that helps. If I really narrow this down, I'm going to highlight these quite comfortably. Euro NZD, blue. Euro AUD, blue. I'm going to take USDCAD. Going to make that blue. And maybe any of these, something like NZD, US dollar, are going to be some of my premium trades right now. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. I hope that helps. I will upload this into both groups for now and catch up with my private group a little bit later on tomorrow.